What's going on, guys? It's John Moore here, aka John from LA, whatever you want to call me. Let's get into a Knock at the Cabin movie review. Okay, M. Night Shyamalan. Is that how you pronounce it? Shyamalan? M. Night Shyamalan is back, and this guy is hit or miss, right? Some of his movies suck. Let's go. The Happening, terrible. The Airbender movie, that was awful. What else? Old. Not so great. After Earth with Will Smith, basically unwatchable, garbage, terrible, really bad. He's got some pretty bad movies, but he also has some great movies. The Sixth Sense, of course, that is basically a classic now. I liked Unbreakable, thought that was great. What else has he done that's been good? Signs, really good movie. This one is one of his better movies. I think it's probably a top 3. So one thing I'll say about M. Night Shyamalan, he's one of those guys where you don't need to know it's his movie to figure out that it's his movie. Whether it's the cinematography or just the style and the tone, the dialogue, the subject matter, you can be watching this movie and about halfway through you'll go, this movie is M. Night Shyamalan, isn't it? That's the same with a lot of other great directors and filmmakers. For example, Scorsese comes to mind, Tarantino, obviously, Stanley Kubrick, Jordan Peele, guys like that. When you're watching one of their movies, they have a style and a tone where you know it's their movie. And it's the same thing with M. Night Shyamalan. And Knock at the Cabin is no different. This is classic M. Night Shyamalan, and it's a really good one. I enjoyed it. A bit of a warning here, I'm going to reveal some spoilers. So if you don't want me to ruin the movie for you, just turn this video off right now. I didn't want you here anyway, all right? Okay, Knock at the Cabin, it stars Dave Bautista, Rupert, what's his name? The guy from Harry Potter, that dude is in this. Abby Quinn, Nikki Amuka Bird, I think I'm pronouncing that right. I gotta look at my notes because I don't know all these actors other than Dave Bautista. Ben Aldridge and Jonathan Griff, they play the 2 fathers of the little girl, Kristen Sway. Everyone did a great job of acting in this film, especially Dave Bautista. That dude killed it.
We were called and are united by a common vision, which has now become a command that we cannot ignore.
Guardians of the Galaxy, obviously he's great in that, but that's more of a fun comedic role. But then we also started to see him develop as an actor with movies like Dune, which he was really good in. Blade Runner 2049, he was great in that. This dude is turning out to be a phenomenal actor. He definitely steals the show in Knock at the Cabin. Overall, the performances were great, except for maybe Abby Quinn. You know, I would have probably cast someone else in that role, but every other actor did a great job. The camera work is great. The cinematography is great. The dialogue is really good. Sometimes it carries on a little bit too much, but the acting and the performances are all great. This movie is really good. One of the things that's maybe not so great, so with M. Night Shyamalan, most of his films, he's known for his twists, right? His unexpected endings. His things that might not be so clear that might be revealed later, or you might be at home later thinking about the movie and go, oh my gosh, I didn't realize this and that connection, right? So he gives a lot of the stuff away in this movie. The actors will just outright explain what's going on instead of leaving it up for the audience to figure out. That's one of the things that maybe wasn't so great. Now, this movie is basically an allegory or just a straight retelling of the story of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. There's a lot of metaphors within the movie, but essentially it's a retelling of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. For example, Dave Bautista's character, he represents the white horseman who in biblical lore is the first of the 4 horsemen to appear, and he appears first in this movie, and he's wearing a white shirt. In fact, all of the characters in this movie who represent the 4 horsemen, they are represented by the same colors of the horsemen in the Bible with the color of their shirts. So we have white, we've got red, we've got black, and we've got pale. And these characters, which is another thing that's really interesting and really cool, they appear in the film in the same order as the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse appear in the biblical story.
There are 4 of them.
What did we say? You shouldn't make things up when we're talking about...
Can you open the door, please?
Another great thing about this 4 horsemen metaphor or 4 horsemen retelling was with the 4 horsemen in the Bible, what they stood for. So the white horseman who comes first, he represents Christ or the Antichrist, and that's Dave Bautista's character. In this case, not only does he appear first and he's wearing a white shirt, but at the end of the film, he is the only character of the 4 that sacrifices himself for the world, much like Jesus Christ was supposed to have done. You've got the red horseman who represents war. This character is basically an asshole. He's violent. He commits a hate crime. Got the Black Horseman, who's played by Abby Quinn's character, and in the Bible it's a food merchant, and she is a cook, or she's a food merchant in this film. Then you've got the Pale Horse, who in the Bible represents death, and this character, the Pale Horse, is a nurse, who I guess at the opposite of the end of that represents life, healing, and they mentioned that in the movie, so he flipped that up a little bit there. Also, another cool Easter egg, that character who plays the Pale Horse, Nikki Amiku Bird, in the movie Old, in the M. Night Shyamalan movie Old, there is a character who's also played by Nikki Amiku Bird, and that character in Old mentions that she has a sister who is a nurse. So that's a cool Easter egg that ties the whole M. Night Shyamalan universe together. Some of the other themes that this movie touches on is religion, religious fanaticism, cults, LGBTQ issues and their acceptance in the church or in society in general, and the bigotry that they have to endure. When it comes down to it, bottom line, good movie, highly recommend it. Probably give it about 8 out of 10 stars. If you like M. Night Shyamalan, you're gonna love it. It's got all the suspense you might be looking for. It's got some of the horror, but it's not super bloody and super in your face like The Happening, but it definitely has those scenes that kind of make you jump and look away. It's deep. It's got some deeper themes that might make you think a little bit. If you're heading out to the movies, this is one you might want to see. Okay, and that's a wrap for my review. I'm not going to get too deep into it. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and leave a comment with your thoughts below, and you can visit my website at johnfromla.com, and I'll leave some other links below. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here.